Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Andre's Artist Profiles. Now, before I get into this one, it's Christmas, everybody. I wanted to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. And I wanted to deal with two Christmas babies. And the first up is Mr. Bob James himself. Now, like Frank Zappa and James Brown, Bob James is one of the most prolific artists of his age in the jazz fusion genre. And I believe he actually released an album every year from 1974 to 1988. I'm not sure if that's right. But anyway, this is not his first solo album. It's actually his third. But it was his first on, I believe it was Kudu or CTI. And the name of it as One. This album came out in 1974. It was actually on, this is a reissue on Koch Records. Maybe it was originally on Koch Records. Yeah, I think it was probably on CTI or something. And he did a version on here of Night on Ball Mountain. He had a number of albums after this, which I don't have, but all these albums are brilliant cinematic jazz funk, so I'm not going to get into specifics too much. This is another album called Heads from 1977. Another fantastic album that he did. Now, this album is famous because it contains a TV theme song that he did called Angela, the theme from the television show Taxi. I mean, look at the lineup this guy has on his albums. He's like a Quincy Jones. 1978. Touchdown. This is actually one of my favorite full-on albums of Bob James, and I like the ladybug on the cover for some reason. It's called Lucky 7. This came out in 1979. There's a lot of ladybugs on the back. This is a duet album between Bob James and the guitarist Earl Klugh called One on One. This came out in 1979 as well. Ron Carter, Harvey Mason, Ralph McDonald. Unbelievable. This album is called H. It came out in 1977. If you read my blog on WordPress, I'm going to leave a little link in there to my WordPress blog about this. I discuss a certain use of a song on here called The Walkman, but I'm not going to get into that too much now. The next album paired him with Heatwave, Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, composer extraordinaire Rod Temperton on Sign All the Time and That Steam and Feel, and a number of songs on that album. This has a bit more of a modern synthesizer flavor, but it's still a great Bob James album, more the funkier side. And this is a recent reissue, too. It's a bit no frills, but still great music to hear no matter how it's put together as a package. Just got a new jewel case here, so it's a little hard to open. See, it's kind of no frills, but anyway. It's Bob James, Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times, thinking of Prince, 1981. The next album is hands down from 1982. And there's a song on here I love called It's Only Me. I think Bob James is one of the greatest and funkiest instrumental artists of the jazz fusion period. There's the back of this album. Anyway. Slight bit of a breakdance influence on this album, early hip-hop. This album, 12, continues that feeling from 1984. There's one between it called Foxy, which I don't have, but I got both hands down in this from the BMG Music Service, which is now defunct. I think you can see it there. There was a song he did for, I believe it was the 84 Olympics or something on this album, or some sports event. This is the double album between Bob James and David Sanborn. Really, really good record. A lot of good up-tempo stuff on here. I think one of the best albums Bob James ever did, even though it's a combination album. Obsession. This came out also in 1986. I apologize for the cracked jewel cases for audiophiles and music fanatics and so on and so forth. This album actually continues much in the vein of the David Sanborn album, a little more electronic. Same goes for the next album, Ivory Coast, from 1988. I have that as well. And Grand Piano Canyon, I believe from 1990. This album doesn't have the same electronic feel. Kind of gets back to a more acoustic piano sound, but it's a wonderful album. Very jazzy. So that's what I have for Bob James. I could have gone on and on forever about how much I appreciate the music of this artist. But these videos record and take up a lot of room and therefore take a long time to upload on YouTube, so I had to be a little brief somewhere. But that's what I have for Bob James. And there's a lot of things in there, like a lot of his 1974, 75 albums, I intend to fill in with time. So there may be another video on this guy. I can't promise you, but that's what I've got by him so far. And everybody out there, have a Merry Christmas and happy birthday to Bob James. See you next time.